भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। तस्मात् यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जाग्रति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः आपूर्यमाणमचलप्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमापस् प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत्कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी विहाय कामान्यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति। एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति। We were doing, so those who have no self-control, without any control, those who dwell on things, impulsively go on dwelling on the things. They run the risk of getting into trouble. Because even developing some kind of attachment to things is a risk. It is a risk because to unwind it is tough. To unwind attachment is tough, is very difficult, therefore it's a risk. Because it is so nice to be free from attachments. But then really supposing, the more you dwell on objects, the more you develop attraction for them, attachments for them, likes and dislikes for them. Then what happens? Oh, I don't have them. The more you think of them, the more you think you don't have them. The more you think you don't have them, then the more you think you would like to have them. The more you think you would like to have them, the more you feel helpless because you can't have them. You see, the more you dwell on the objects, the more you feel helpless. I wish I had all of them, but I don't have the means. That's called helplessness. What else? I'm not able to get what I want. That's called helplessness. That means our wrong thinking really only makes us feel helpless. Otherwise there is no need. Helplessness is not our nature. Helplessness is what we precipitate. Helplessness is what we pray. Even though as individuals we are helpless, that different as biological individual. That universal helplessness is different. But then there are subjective, individualistic helplessness that we cause, we precipitate, we promote it in ourselves. The more you think of the objects, the more you feel like having them. And the more you want to have them, the more you feel helpless because you can't have them. Oh, I wish I had all. I wish I had married that businessman's son who came for me. I wish I had married him rather than marrying this professor who earns nothing. This is how we get into trouble. If I had married that business tycoon's son, I would have been able to buy whatever I wanted. Then unnecessarily, this professor is like a vegetable, he doesn't make any money. Anyway, what I am saying is, please understand, it's a wonderful thing to be with yourself. Dwell on your duties and be with yourself. And you are not helpless being. You are the subject. You are the subject, the observer of everything. Therefore here, now, what Krishna says is, Tadasya harati prajnam vayurnava mivambhasi. How a ship uncontrolled, unsteered properly, can be waylaid by, can meet with an accident, can sink, can destroy itself, by a strong wind. A strong wind can destroy, can sink a ship. A strong wind can sink a ship if it doesn't have a control over the one who, maneuvers it, steers it, is not good. In the same manner, a human being minus self-control can get into all kinds of problems. It becomes a mess. Therefore, in order to be peaceful, there is no better method, there is no other means than self-control. Take interest in doing your duties. Take interest. Don't do any action, oh, I have to do it, karna padta hai. That's wrong. Karna acha hai. It is good for your body and mind. Good for your body and mind. And therefore, then this is what we were doing. Then in the last class we saw one point. We just concluded there. Self-control is looked upon as self-suppression. It's not. Self-control also is self-expression. If somebody controls me, it is suppression. If I control myself, it is self-control, it is self-expression. Suppression is something, I want to talk, you don't allow me to talk. I want to talk, I want to eat, and you don't allow me to eat. That's called suppression. You see, that's not desirable. But if I decide not to say anything, and I see my well-being also in it, it's the right thing. If I choose not to say anything, if I choose to be quiet, that is what? Self-control. It is self-expression, because I am using my will. When you try to be quiet by will, by your own choice, when you are using your choice, what is it? Expression. In fact, self-expression is nothing but using one's choice for one's own well-being. What else is expression? What is self-expression? We use our choice. We use our choice for our own well-being. We use our own choice. We use our choice for our own well-being. That is called expression. What else is expression? दुनिया के सामने चिल्लाना, is it expression? मैं ये हूँ, वो हूँ, is it expression? This is being wild. People think when you are wildly talking, it's very expressive. It's not expressive, it's wild. He is shouting, is it expression? Pulling everybody's hair, is it expression? What is it? Being wild, understand? Being wild. Being wild is not self-expression. Use your choice for what is good for you, what is good for others. Using your choice for yours and collective family well-being. A sadhu living quiet, silent in a cave, tell me, he doesn't interact with the world. किसी से मिलते जुलते नहीं हैं. He just lives in a cave, alone by himself, and he may be quiet. Is it self-expression or self-suppression? This is expression. He chooses to be quiet. Why not? For his own happiness. He chooses to be quiet. To choose to be quiet is self-expression. To choose to talk for the well-being is self-expression. To choose to work is self-expression. To choose not to work if there is no need is self-expression. To work is an expression. To relax is an expression. When I work, if I work when I need to work, it is self-expression. If I am relaxing, there is no need to work. Now I have done the work. Now I am back at home. And therefore now let me relax. When you close your eyes and just relax, what is it? Self-expression. Because you are doing it by your choice. Whatever you do by your choice, for your own well-being is self-expression. When a person is wild, is it by choice or is it impulse? It is impulse. The definition of choice, please understand. The definition of choice is that which controls impulses. God has given us choice so that we can control impulses. It's almost like giving. God gives a lot of dust, but God also gives you a broom. As long as the example works, it's all right. Even if it is broom, so what? God gives a lot of dust, but also hands over a broom. Please, you can broom the whole dust off. Choice is the broom. Impulses are the dust. Why not? If God gave me impulses without giving the broom, then I would feel helpless. But God has given us impulses, but along with the impulses, God also has given us viveka. Viveka is what? Choice. He has given us choice. Therefore, if I use my choice to rein in my impulses and think of my own well-being, thus I guide myself by my choice. That is called expression, self-expression. If I don't use my choice to rein in my impulses, to guide myself, if I don't use my choice, then I live by impulses. He is called sluggish. not to exercise one's choice to guide oneself correctly makes one sluggish, impulsive. That is called sluggishness. He is sluggish. He doesn't want to exercise his will. He doesn't want to exercise his choice. He doesn't want to exercise his wisdom, his discretion. He doesn't want to use his discretion to guide himself towards his well-being. Then him we call sluggish. Sluggish. Bhagavan says, don't be sluggish. Use your choice to guide yourself. It is this self-control that gives you the flood of happiness. Don't think mere meditation. Meditation has its place. Prayer is beautiful. Even when you are praying with great concentration, when you pray to God, do you know why you are peaceful? Because the dust from the mind is gone at that time. You are not thinking there are no likes and dislikes and anger and greed and jealousy, vagaira. Those impulses, the mind is free. When you are peaceful, when the mind is free from all this dust, then it is peaceful. And therefore, here Bhagavan says, one may think, Swamiji, will not others take advantage of our self-control? If I have self-control, if I try to be a nice person, good person, not harming anybody and even being tolerant of others, if I become a good human being, good individual, will not others take advantage of my goodness? Let them take advantage, and they are only harming. Anyone who takes advantage of others' goodness, that means what? If he tries to be funny, he is only harming himself. Whenever a person tries to be funny, he is only harming himself. Leave it. Leave it. Therefore, you try to have self-control, you try to look after yourself. And if you have no, therefore self-control is not a disadvantage. Self-control is exactly the path. Self-control is a part of self-expression. Like driving. Driving. Putting the brakes on, is it a part of driving or no? I think that is the essential part of driving. You know how to race, but you don't know how to put brakes on. Very risky. Very risky. There are people, whom there are a lot of children, they are very sensitive, very fast in everything. Fast in everything. That means what? They are very good racers. But when it's time to put brakes on, they don't know. They don't even know where the brakes are. They don't even know where the brakes are. They don't know where not to show. They are good racers, but don't know how to. Therefore, the first thing one has to learn in life is how to put brakes on oneself. In all our families, parents taught children first how to put brakes on. And then, with the brakes on, express yourself. With the brakes on, express yourself. Not that really forget the brakes. Then. And without those brakes, interaction is not possible. Families are not possible. Societies are not possible. And therefore now, let me conclude this topic. Self-control is a sophisticated part of self-expression. Understand? To work is the physical part of self-expression. To talk is the physical part of self-expression. But to restrain oneself is a subtler, a sophisticated part of self-expression. To be tranquil, to be silent is a subtler part of self-expression. Vidhi and pratisheda, both are karma. I'm picking up another topic. In karma kanda we have vidhis and pratisheda. Say these two words, vidhi and pratisheda. Vidhi means do, pratisheda means don't. Life minus the do's and don'ts becomes wide. In all our interactions, we have to observe do's and don'ts. If every member of the family observes the do's and don'ts in life, that family will be very happy, very peaceful. Like when you go to a doctor with some problem, he gives a list of do's and don'ts. For common cold, he may not give the list. But the day you go, saying, I've got some pain in my heart, then he will give a long list of do's and don'ts. जब दिल की बात आती है, do's and don'ts बहुत जरूरी होती है. हाँ जी. As long as your complaint is just short of the dil, then doctor doesn't want to waste his time. ठीक हो जाएंगे. But when there is a problem, then there is a list of do's and don'ts. Do you know what it means? When it comes to crisis, you overcome the crisis by sticking to do's and don'ts. By sticking to do's and don'ts can solve a lot of problems in life. Because when we live very casually without giving any attention to the do's and don'ts, we make a lot of mistakes and then a lot of problems. But sometimes what happens, like, when you don't observe the do's and don'ts in the matter of your food habits, then you put on, extra weight. And when that extra weight reaches the crisis level, how do you overcome that crisis? Strictly follow do's and don'ts. Don't believe those people who say you should not go by do's and don'ts, you should be a free person. What is that? Following do's and don'ts is called freedom. It's all bluffs. Our Shastra is right. Your Bhagavad Gita, I tell you, is the guide. The modern people, all these people, they say, oh, we are free people. We don't follow all these do's and don'ts. Advices, we are not interested. We do exactly what we feel like doing. That is what a donkey does. A donkey always feels like kicking, it kicks. That's a donkey's job. Human beings are not supposed to do whatever they feel like. They should always edit and express. Is it right? Vidhis are do's, pratishedas are don'ts. When I speak truth, it is expression. When I avoid telling lies, it is expression. I want you to understand this point. Not to take sattvic food is expression. To avoid tamasic food, expression. To be nice to people, expression. Not to be unpleasant to them is expression. That means we learn to express on the wheels by me in terms of do's and don'ts. Supposing we express ourselves only in terms of impulses, it's not expression, it is being wide. Understand? I am differentiating between self-expression and being wide. I don't respect do's I don't respect don'ts. I don't respect do's and don'ts and just do as my impulses dictate. What am I? I am being wild. I am being wild. And when I live a life of wildness, being wild, then I am called Asura, Rakshas. Can you live with an Asura? No, can't live with Asura. This is the problem in the modern society. This is the problem. And therefore you can't live with other people. When I am wild, others can't live with me because I am being wild. I am being wild. Supposing there is a family of 5-6 people, among whom there is one person who is wild, then it's very difficult. He makes everybody unhappy because he is wild. Why? He has no respect for do's and don'ts. In other words, he has no respect for discipline. In other words, he has no respect for peace, self-control. Self-control also is self-expression. Therefore, all the vidhis, therefore we keep growing. This is where Karma Kanda has a program for human growth. The entire Karma Kanda initiates human growth. It is not merely becoming richer and richer and having nice places that is called growth. Having excellent lawns and gardens and parks and lot of economies doing roaringly well, and then you have metros, even though once in a while fall down. You have metros, vagaira. This is not human growth. This is all really programmed for survival. This is all programmed for survival. Growth is always in the form of respecting the do's and don'ts. And Karma Kanda promotes human growth. And then the next is Vedanta. It helps you discover yourself. Thus, half of Veda helps man to grow as an individual, and Vedanta helps him discover his being, the eternal, the truth. Karma Kanda gives discipline. Values give discipline. That's growth. Self-expression is growth. And expression also includes self-control. And Vedanta conveys the truth. And a person who is grown up, for the grown up, Vedanta teaches the eternity of his nature. And the grown up definitely can understand. That's why here Krishna says, Tasmad yasya mahabaho. Tasmad, therefore. Look at the verse number 68. Tasmad, therefore, yasya of Jinka, Jiska. Yasya means Jiska. Whose Indriyani. Then take the second line, first word, Indriyani. Whose sense organs. Whenever we use the word sense organs, by Krishna, whenever he uses, he means impulses. Not that you should control eyes and ears. That is not it. Indriya is a term for impulses. Controlling the senses does not mean I have to control my eyes and ears. This is why should you control your eyes? Bhagavan has given them. I should use them. I have to live in the creation for which I have eyes and ears. Therefore, sense control means self-control. Self-control means controlling impulses. Self-control does not mean controlling the self. Sense control does not mean controlling the senses. whether it is self-control or sense control, because what needs to be reined in is the impulse. Swabhavika pravrittis, impulses. These impulses which trigger unhappiness, which disturb peace in the society, which trigger Mahabharata. How did Mahabharata, whose work is Mahabharata? Whose work was Mahabharata? It's a riddle for you. Whose work was Mahabharata? Duryodhana. Duryodhana stands for what? Impulses. Mahabharata was the work of impulses. I must have everything and nobody else is an impulse. Greed is an impulse. Jealousy is an impulse. Therefore, tasmad yasya indriyani, the sense organs, the impulses, Mahabahu, Arjuna, nigrihitani, are all under control. Whose impulses are under control? Sarvashaha, without giving them, without any second thoughts. You don't have to reflect like this. He is controlling greed. Is it good or not good? He is controlling greed, good or not good? Don't have that ambiguity. Always understand, controlling greed is good. That is called sarvashaha. Without any ambiguity about it. It's like going to school with no doubt whatsoever about its need. You see? When you go for a walk, you don't have, you are not in two minds. Going for walk, is it good or can one live without walking also? Am I wasting time? Because there are so many people who don't go for walks, but they are living such a long time. They are living a long life. They are living a long life. My neighboring auntie never goes for a walk, and she is 80 plus. This is all what is called being two minds. Never be in two minds. Going for a walk is good. That without, follow the right things without doubt. Similarly, controlling greed is no doubt good. Controlling jealousy is no doubt good. Controlling impulses is no doubt good. It's good and no doubt about it. In this manner, yasya indriyani nigrihitani sarvashaha. He Mahabahu Arjuna. Indriyarthebhyaha, whose impulses are controlled along with their subjects. I mean, senses, every impulse has got a subject, you see. I mean, subject means matter, greed for money. That money becomes indriyartha, like this. You don't have to worry about these technicalities. The one who controls his senses, his impulses, thinking that is the right thing to do. Tasya prajna pratisthita. His wisdom is clear. He has a steady wisdom. His knowledge is steady. His knowledge is valid. His knowledge is valid. And even when he studies Vedanta, he is able to understand. That means that's a part of wisdom. Self-control is a part of wisdom. Do you think that self-control is so it just happens like that? Do you know what happens like that? Impulses. Impulses happen and I have to control them. I have to control them. Therefore, what is meditation? Managing to keep your own impulses quiet is meditation. That's meditation. And to keep one's impulses quiet, whatever means you adopt, that is also meditation. That's a study. Call it meditation, call it education. I would like to call it education. Vidya. A Vidya, self-control is a part of Vidya. It is not as part of Dhyanam. Even Dhyanam is a part of Vidya. But anyway, word doesn't matter. Tasya prajna pratishtha. This is over. Thus, whenever you are unhappy, your refuge is your self-control. Supposing you have a vice and you are suffering, which is the refuge? Self-control. You are creating a disturbance in your family because you have all the time shouting. Which is the refuge? Self-control. In fact, sometimes you are short of money also because all the time you have a week-long program. Sunday, South Extension Market. Monday, Khan Market. You are unnecessarily go about buying which you don't require. This is a habit. A lot of rich people go about shopping. That is okay, you can rob. But then you always buy what you don't, you already have. One Mataji in the south has 500 pairs of slippers. What do you do with 500 pairs? 500 pairs. What is it? Is it a need or a greed or is a mental case? It's a mental case. I am telling you, it's a mental case. Therefore, sometimes you get into trouble. Then what is the way out? Self-control is the way out. Self-control is the way out. Because lack of self-control can take, a lot of wars took place due to lack of self-control. Families get into all unhappiness, lack of self-control. Therefore, I would like to call self-control meditation. I would like to call it education. I would like to call it spirituality. That's being. That is our need. I am going to the next verse. I want you comparatively understand the value of self. You become a scholar. You have memorized the books. You have memorized the book of Vyakaranam. You have memorized the book of Nyaya. You have memorized the whole Veda. You can fill out the whole Veda. You are a great scholar and the impulses remain intact. Can your scholarship give you happiness? No. When it comes to the sacred happiness, it is only through self-control and self-understanding. Self-control and self-understanding, it is that can give us the most sacred thing called happiness or peace or serenity. Nothing else. Unsacred things, false things can't give us the sacred. It is the sacred self-control that can give us sacred happiness. Thus, this is over. Now, in the next verse, we are going to see something very interesting. There is a Sanskrit term. This is over. Now forget about the last verse. Now we are going to the next verse. In Sanskrit, there is a term called Naktanchara. Naktam means Ratri. Chara means charne wala. Raat ko gumne wale. Ye raat ko gumne wale, they are called Naktancharas. Nocturnal. Nocturnal. There are some birds which really see by night. Din mein, they can't see. They can't see by the day, they only see in the dark. Those which see, there are nocturnal animals also like tigers, they are all nocturnal animals. owls. And even among human beings, really, the whole day they are asleep. In the night, at 9, 10 o'clock, they are out. They are all nocturnal. Now here Krishna is going to use this. Hey, in this world, there are people who only enjoy darkness. Very few people enjoy the light. Truth is the light. We have to build up this topic. And you have to cooperate. Truth, the self, the truth, the free self, Shanti, the peaceful self, the subject, the observing self, is the light, is the day. Let us call it the day. And the name and form is the night. Water is the day. The waves and bubbles are the night. Bas itna pakad lijiye. Gold is the day. The attractive names and forms like ornaments, like rings and bangles and chains, etc. they are called the night. The substance is the day. The name and form is the night. The self, the subject is the day. The object is the night. Clear? The subject is the day. The names and forms are the night. And the one who sees the day as the day and the night as the night, he is called really a wise man, a rishi, a muni. Now, in this world, Krishna says, understand, the one who sees the subject as the subject, the one who sees the day as the day, as distinct from the night, he is very rare. A thinking person is wide awake to the self. It is the daylight for him. The subject, the self is the free nature of the self, the peaceful nature of the self. Listen, the peaceful nature of the self, the free nature of the self, the conscious nature of the self, the observing, the eternal nature of the self, the unnegatable nature of the self is the daylight for the thinker. It's a daylight for the thinker. And for the rest of the world, it is night. It is night means they don't know. They are not awake. They are asleep to it. A thinking man is wide awake to the truth and asleep to the name and form, whereas the rest of the world is wide awake to the name and form and asleep to the truth. Clear? Is it not true? Leave alone this Veda. Take the value. Speaking truth. A responsible person is wide awake to the value of speaking truth. And the rest of the world is asleep to it. Yes. The rest of the world is asleep to it. And what the world is awake to, they are all awake to the name and form. A jnani is asleep to it. He doesn't see it, means he knows it is not there. What is a day for a jnani is a night for the world, and what is a day for the world is night for the jnani. And therefore in this world, if you look for a company, like-minded people who also really think about the truth, please, you will be disappointed. When it comes to following values, you are alone. Vidura was was a lonely man. He also said, I am alone. I felt very happy to hear that. Vidura said, I am all alone. Vidura said, I am all alone. Nobody gives me company. I have no company. I have no company. Are you able to follow? Duryodhana had enough company. Therefore, if you look for a company in your pursuit of the truth, you will be disappointed. If you get one, you are lucky. If you don't get one, it's understandable. Nothing surprising. Therefore, don't look for any companionship. So, Swamiji, if my husband also studied Vedanta, how wonderful it would. If my children also gave me company in studying Vedanta, how wonderful. I say, don't look for any company. Like, you don't seek company. When suppose you want to eat food and you don't get company, then you don't eat food. Not able to follow? बड़ा मुश्किल है। आप इतने कठिन बातें करते हैं। You look for a company for having lunch and nobody gives you company. Then you follow Ekadashi on that day. कोई बात नहीं जी, अपने आप अकेला we don't miss company. Don't look for a company in following values. Supposing you want to really do a wrong thing, you get a lot of company. I am not talking about that. But whenever you try to do the right thing, you get very less company. You get very less company. This is the truth. I want to tell this. Therefore, don't feel lonely in your pursuit of happiness, in your pursuit of knowledge, in your study of the truth. Don't feel lonely. Why? Because everybody is alone. Everybody is alone. Supposing you want to fall asleep, do you want company? You want company? Fall asleep. You don't want anybody. You want to fall asleep. You want to eat? No company. You want to follow values? No company. In fact, everybody is seeking his fullness alone. Everybody is seeking his fullness alone. And if that is the fact, the sense of loneliness is unjustified. The sense of loneliness is unjustified. Because everybody is seeking. Suppose you are going to Gangotri. 10 people are walking from Rishikesh to Gangotri. And everybody is walking. Everybody is walking on his own or with the help of some company. Even if they are going in a group, each one is walking independent. Each one is on his own. Each one is on his own. Each one is on his own. And even if he is supposing one of the 10 is not able to walk, the others may give him a helping hand for a few feet. For some distance. Ultimately they will say, आप यहीं पर रहना हम ओके आ जाएंगे. हम गंगा जी का दर्शन करके, गंगोत्री का दर्शन करके हम वापस आएंगे, फिर उसके बाद देख लेंगे. The whole program is all in ambiguity. It is all not clear. देख लेंगे मतलब it's all in ambiguity. Understand? When we will come back, we will see. The moment somebody says we will see, that means he is already bailing himself out. We will see means beware of a man who always says, देखेंगे. देखेंगे means what? कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. In fact, from Gangotri itself, they go straight to Badri and bypass the person, and ultimately they will say, "Humko yaad hi nahi tha." Hey, what are you talking? Don't enjoy company, but when you don't have it, don't miss it. Enjoy company, but when you don't have it, don't miss it. Don't feel helpless. Be strong enough to live your life. Be strong enough to do your study. Be strong enough to look after yourself. Be strong enough to live your life without feeling. Because we are born alone and we will leave the body also alone. In between company, if it is there, enjoy company. Don't run down company. Don't run down company. Enjoy company and be strong enough to be alone also. Then you are free. Supposing you are happy when you have company and you are not happy when you don't have company, then you have a problem. Or you are happy when you don't have company and unhappy when you have company, then also you have a problem. Enjoy company, and when you don't have it, yes. This is what is conveyed by Krishna in this verse. Hey, look at the verse. What is the verse? Ya nisha sarva bhutana. Ya, jinke liye. Jo, nisha means night. What is night means what is unknown. It is unknown. What is ununderstood? Sarva bhutanam. What is unknown to everybody in this world? Tasya, that. In that, Jagarti, wide awake, Sanyami, a reflective person. Sanyami means a person who has self-control and he is reflective to understand. He works for self-understanding. Two things. Sanyamanam. Do you know what it means, Sanyamanam? Are you able to follow Sanyamanam? What is Sanyamanam? Atma Sanyamanam. Sanyami, the one who guides himself, the one who conducts himself. He doesn't allow himself, he doesn't put himself in the hands of the impulses. He doesn't put himself in the hand of the impulses. Instead of really being conducted by the impulses, he conducts himself by his own choice, by his own discretion, by his own discrimination. It's a very important thing. That's called freedom. You become your master. You become your guide. You become your light. You become your teacher. Then you start feeling you are existent, I'm telling you. To feel life, to feel that you are existent, to feel that you are alive, to feel that you are alive, you should not allow yourself in the hands of impulse. You should be conducting yourself, guide yourself, conduct yourself, etc. Try to understand what is the problem in life, try to solve that problem and take charge of your existence. Take charge of your well-being. Take charge of your discipline. Take charge of yourself. It is only when you lose charge over yourself, then somebody wants to take charge of you. It's a problem ho jata hai. Somebody wants to take over. Take charge of somebody. And therefore, Sanyami, Krishna says here, A Sanyami, what is unknown to the whole world is daylight for a thinking man. For a thinking man. For a thinking man. What is a daylight? What is unknown to the world is a daylight for thinking people. Very rare. Yasyam jagrati bhutani, yasyam in which jagrati wide awake, bhutani individuals, that to which the whole world is awake. What is it that the world is awake? Names and forms, objects, pleasures, sensory pleasures, impulses. A life of impulse. Objects. Sanisha Pashyato Munehe. And that is a night for a jnani. He doesn't even look at what the world sees. He doesn't even look at what the world sees. And what he sees, the world doesn't see. Or Pashyato Munehe, for a thinking, for a seeing, reflective person. Pashyata means the seer. Muni means a thinking person. Now, I am just giving the background. It has to be properly understood. What a jnani sees, the world doesn't see. What the world sees, the jnani doesn't see, is the synopsis. Okay? Now the world will also say, so kya farak padta hai? What we see, he doesn't see. What we know, he doesn't know, and what he knows, we may not know. Koi baat nahi. But what we know, he also doesn't know. Oh my God, what he doesn't know is so much, because what we all know, he doesn't know. What the whole world knows, he doesn't know. And what he knows, we don't know. Even if we don't know, it doesn't matter. What the jnani knows, the world doesn't know. What the world knows, he doesn't. No, aisa nahi. What the world knows, what the jnani knows, now listen, just we are going to conclude. What the jnani knows, the world does not know. What the world knows, the jnani knows to be false. What the jnani knows, the world doesn't know. And what the world knows, the jnani knows it to be false. What the world thinks the truth, the jnani knows it to be false. What the jnani knows it to be the truth, the world doesn't have any inkling, not even an idea about it. The world has no idea of what the jnani knows. And what the world knows, the jnani also knows it to be false. You see the ghost, I see the post. Now you can't say, after all, you see the post, I see the ghost, I don't see the post, you don't see the ghost. हम अपना अपना दुनिया में हैं. ऐसा नहीं. I see the post, you don't see the post. You see the ghost, I also see that you are seeing a ghost that is not there. I also see that you are seeing a ghost that is not there. This is the meaning of the verse. We will continue more of it later. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vajichyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Om Tat Sat. Thank you.